Well, you know, when I got married, everything was black and white. Not the table settings, the photographs. Well, as we all know, one thing every bride wants is for that big day to be perfect and unforgettable. And I guess 1 out of 2 had to do for a California wedding couple. As a young man and his bride were getting photos taken near the Pacific Ocean in Laguna Beach, something unexpected happened. Their beautiful picture on a rock was suddenly interrupted by a giant wave that swept them right into the ocean. Well, while many a bride has been swept off her feet, it usually was done by the groom or the proposal, not the Pacific.
Excuse me, Governor. I just can't get over that. But did I ever tell you about the wedding I attended? It was between 2 nuclear technicians. Did I tell you about that? Yeah.
No.
Well, all I can say is the bride and groom were absolutely glowing.
Oh, Keith.
Glowing.
Keith.
Nuclear.
Oh, you make me think of the bald man who married his comb and pledged, "I'll never part with it."
I don't get that. Oh, part. Well, I got you.
Part with it. All right, back to California. Thankfully, a nearby team of lifeguards responded to the sudden nautical nuptials and were able to rescue the bride and groom, extending the warranty on their vows and "till death do us part" clause. Sincerely, we are thankful for the first responders and their quick actions to save the couple, for all those who had saved the date. We certainly wish the newlyweds a safe and dry honeymoon and many years of land-based happiness. Yes. Well, no one loves their breakfast cereals as much as Americans. Now, I'll be the first to admit that we have missed the mark sometimes with flavors like chicken and waffles.
That's not true.
Nah.
Corn flakes with instant bananas, whatever those are. And even, not making this up, green slime cereal. Yeah. But with all those misses, I don't know if anything can top the breakfast cereal just released in South Korea. Honestly, it's enough to make you weep. Because Kellogg's has launched a green onion flavor cereal.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not mincing words here. I mean, what else could they have picked for a breakfast flavor? Turnip? Oregano? Maybe tear gas. By the way, do you know the difference between an accordion and an onion? No one cries when you cut up an accordion. Hey, we don't have an accordion player on the show tonight, do we?
Yeah.
Okay. Boxes of Chocolate Flakes flew from the shelves and sold out within 48 hours after the flavor won a consumer poll over its exotic opposing flavor, chocolate. By the way, for the record, green onion was not an overnight sensation. It had been in the annual consumer flavor vote for 16 years before finally winning. I'll bet it'll be another 100 years before anyone can buy a box of garlic flakes to start the day.
Ooh. Rough.
Well, down in Bossier City, Louisiana, police reeled in a big catch, and I mean a big one. It was a human. You see, a man named Kevin Wise, dove into the Bass Pro Shop's giant aquarium to celebrate getting 2,000 likes on the social media app TikTok. Wise said he had promised his followers that he'd do it if he passed the goal, and he didn't want to be a liar. Fellow shopper Treasure McGraw captured video on his phone before Wise climbed out of the aquarium and ran from the store.
Governor?
Yeah.
Did you know I made fish tacos last night?
Really?
And they just swam right past them.
Interesting.
What it was.
On a serious note, though, I have an important question.
Okay.
Since we're on this subject. Do you know what you call a fish with no arms and no legs?
No.
A fish.
Did
Well,
you get
Trey,
that? Did you get that?
I got it. I don't want to get it, but I got it.
fish.
Trey, do you know what they call that soft tissue between a shark's teeth? A very slow swimmer. That's what they call it. But by the way, after that joke, I'd worry about you swimming in the ocean. Yeah, back to our story. All right, Bass Pro Shops filed a complaint with the Bossier City Police Department. They said that it cost them a lot of money to empty out the $13,000 aquarium and clean it after Wise's little swim. Police say that Wise was charged with criminal damage to property and given a citation to appear in court. So let that be a lesson to you if you were thinking about going out to the Bass Pro Shop and jumping in the aquarium. Okay, you've heard of flying frogs that can leap off a tree and glide through the air.
Yeah.
But would you believe a frog that could fly 5,000 miles and even get airline points for it? Now that takes a leap of faith. Well, workers at an Asda supermarket in Wales were unpacking a shipment of bananas when they discovered not a Welsh rabbit, but the strangest looking frog they'd ever seen staring right back at them. It was absolutely riveting.
Oh.
Yeah. Experts from the RSPCA rushed over and identified the exotic frog in the bananas as a banana tree frog that somehow had hitchhiked all the way from Colombia. The staff's response? They almost croaked.
Of course they did.
But the banana frog was so appealing that they named it Asda, and now it is the star attraction at a local animal preserve where it is treated like a king, or at least the frog prince of Wales.
Okay.
Considering some of the things that I've seen on planes recently, I'm really amazed it wasn't flying on the seat next to me.
Yeah, in first class.
Speaking of weird things, to be airborne paragliding instructor Hasan Kaval of Izmir, Turkey, must think airline seats aren't comfortable enough, and I'm with him there. So he became the world's first flying couch potato. He rigged a couch, a lamp, and a TV up to a parachute harness to create a flying living room, and he went paragliding through the air on the couch. At one point, Hassan, or as his friends call him, Lazy Boy, he kicked off his shoes, look out below, and he put on some slippers and watched cartoons. I sure hope they weren't Wile E. Coyote cartoons. Yeah, he did it to demonstrate how safe paragliding is, although what impressed me was how could he find an extension cord that long?
Think about it.
Yeah. Anyway, his video went viral, and he received backlash for not wearing a mask up there. That's what,
Shame on him.
yeah. All right, before we finish, a couple of innovative ideas resulting from our crazy days and times. First up, if you live in a state where the governors are heavy-handed about you going to church, why not change the names of your services to riot times, right? Hey.
There you go.
There you go. It fixes it. You can have a riot. By the way, I understand that the 8:30 riot is more contemporary at St. Paul's Methodist, but the 10:30 and the 12:30 are just a more traditional form of riot. And now that I think about it, one way to put a stop to all the actual vandalism and rioting is to start calling it a church service.
There you go.
Because that way, local officials will shut it down.
No doubt.
Especially if they're singing.
Oh.
And it appears that beach float manufacturers aren't all that optimistic about 2020 summer fun. But on the plus side, those who would like to be buried at sea will have a jump on things. See it right there, an inflatable coffin. Well, just like a statue in the park, we got to get out of here. But always remember, we read the news.
So you don't have to.
Wait, don't click that button. Well, unless it was the subscribe button, and then carry on. And while you're down there, hit that little notification bell too. Oh, and if you leave a like and a comment, I will personally give my dog Toby a treat. Leave a like, feed a dog, as I always say.